Old Hollywood was full of charm, but behind the red carpets and flashing cameras were secrets that would leave anyone speechless.
I always get my man. That's always been my plan.
From forbidden romances to love triangles that destroyed families, the drama went far beyond the big screen. And let's not forget the homosexual relationships that had to be kept in the shadows back then.
Do you like girls?
Of course. But do we have time?
These hidden love stories shaped Hollywood in ways you'd never imagine. Join us as we uncover 21 hidden affairs that changed old Hollywood forever, revealing the secrets, the risks, and the stars who broke all the rules. Jean Harlow and William Powell. Jean Harlow and William Powell's romance was one of Hollywood's most secretive love stories. At the height of her career, Harlow was known as the blonde bombshell, who was known to captivate audiences with her beauty and charm. Powell, on the other hand, was a sophisticated and suave leading man. Their connection was undeniable, but they kept their relationship hidden from the public eye. Harlow and Powell fell deeply in love, but Powell was hesitant about marriage. He had been through 2 divorces and was reluctant to walk down the aisle again. Despite his reservations, their bond was strong, and Powell showered Harlow with affection and gifts. They seemed inseparable, even though their love remained a closely guarded secret. Tragically, Harlow's life was cut short. In 1937, she died suddenly at just 26 years old from kidney failure. Her untimely death devastated Powell, who reportedly arranged for her to be buried in a stunning gown he had gifted her. He paid for her crypt, ensuring she would be remembered in the way she deserved. Powell never publicly spoke of their romance or his grief, but those close to him knew how deeply he cared for Harlow. Their relationship, hidden in life, became a bittersweet memory that Powell carried with him for the rest of his days. Greta Garbo and Salka Viertel. In the late 1920s, Greta Garbo's love life was already a source of fascination. After splitting from her boyfriend and co-star, John Gilbert, she found herself drawn to Salka Viertel, a talented actor who had recently moved to Hollywood from Berlin. They met at a party and quickly became close friends. Salka, 16 years older than Garbo, was married to screenwriter Berthold Viertel and had 3 children, but that didn't stop the 2 women from forming a deep connection. Salka wasn't a typical Hollywood starlet. She was told she was too old and not beautiful enough to make it as an actress. But Garbo changed her fate. Salka suggested Garbo play Queen Christina of Sweden, and with Garbo's influence, Salka co-wrote the screenplay, launching her into Hollywood's elite. Salka then introduced Garbo to Mercedes de Acosta, a bold screenwriter and open member of the LGBTQ+ community. Mercedes was determined to win Garbo's heart, and the 2 started an affair after a secluded trip to the High Sierras. But while Mercedes hoped to capture Garbo's love, the actor's heart remained tied to Salka. Garbo eventually seduced Salka on her 26th birthday, with Salka later calling it harmonious and beautiful. Garbo and Salka stayed friends, but Mercedes became obsessed. She followed Garbo everywhere, even living nearby when Garbo moved. The final blow came in 1960 when Mercedes published an autobiography, including a private photo of Garbo, breaking their bond forever. Their relationships were daring for the time and kept secret to protect their careers and reputations. Anthony Perkins and Tab Hunter's forbidden affair. In 1956, long before Psycho made Anthony Perkins a star, he met Tab Hunter, Hollywood's blonde and blue-eyed heartthrob. Their meeting at the Chateau Marmont pool sparked a secret romance. In a world where their love was not accepted, discretion became their way of life. They went on double dates with actresses to maintain appearances, fooling the press and their production studios. But after the dates, it was Perkins and Hunter who would head home together. To Paramount Studios, Tab Hunter's clean-cut all-American image was everything. The studio even pressured him to end the relationship, worried it would ruin his career. But the 2 lovers didn't listen. They found ways to meet in secret, including getaways to a beach house. For 3 years, they managed to balance their private love with the pressures of Hollywood. Their love story, however, didn't last. Competition was what drove them apart. Perkins took the lead role in the film version of Fear Strikes Out, which Hunter had played on TV. The rivalry put too much strain on their relationship, and they parted ways. Years later, in 1985, their paths crossed one last time. Hunter showed up at Perkins' door to ask him to star in his production Lust in the Dust, but Perkins turned him down, perhaps because the memories were too much. Clark Gable and Loretta Young. Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood, and Loretta Young, known for her pristine image, shared a secret that would shock the world decades later. The two met while filming Call of the Wild in 1935. Gable, married at the time, was as charming as he was notorious. Young, only 23, was swept up in his attention, but their connection turned dark during a train ride back to Hollywood. Alone in her compartment, Young later revealed Gable forced himself on her, which was a truth she only admitted years later. But the consequences of that night were life-changing. Young became pregnant and knew she couldn't reveal the father. Hollywood's strict moral code demanded secrecy, especially for unmarried actresses. To protect her career, Young kept her pregnancy hidden, retreating from the spotlight until her daughter Judy was born. To maintain the illusion, Young gave Judy up for adoption, then adopted her back, claiming she was her own child. Gable, on the other hand, wanted nothing to do with the baby. When notified of Judy's birth, he reportedly tore up the telegram. He never acknowledged her publicly, visited rarely, and refused to provide financial support. For decades, the truth remained buried, only coming to light in Young's posthumous memoir, a final, bittersweet revelation of Hollywood's most scandalous secret. Barbara Stanwyck and Robert Taylor. Barbara Stanwyck and Robert Taylor were one of Hollywood's most glamorous couples, but their marriage was far from the fairy tale it seemed. Many believed it was an arrangement orchestrated by the studio, designed to boost their careers and protect their personal lives. Taylor, known for his dashing looks and leading man charm, was a box office favorite. On the other hand, Stanwyck, celebrated for her strong independent characters, was one of the highest-paid actresses of her time. Together they made headlines, but behind the scenes, whispers of scandal followed them everywhere. Throughout their marriage, rumors about Stanwyck's relationships with women swirled around Hollywood. Her independence and close friendships with female companions raised eyebrows in a time when such relationships were not accepted. The press speculated, but the studios worked hard to keep her personal life out of the spotlight. Meanwhile, Taylor's alleged affairs with other women further fueled the gossip. Their union seemed more like a partnership than a marriage built on romance. Despite this, the two stayed together for over a decade, presenting a united front in public while keeping their private lives carefully guarded. Their marriage ended in divorce in 1951, but the rumors never stopped. To this day, Stanwyck and Taylor's relationship remains one of Hollywood's most intriguing mysteries, blending glamour, secrecy, and scandal in equal measure. Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini. Ingrid Bergman was Hollywood's golden girl, known for her pure image and roles as a saintly character. But her real life was far from innocent. In 1937, she married Petter Lindstrom, a future neurosurgeon, but their marriage struggled from the start. By the time she moved to California in 1939 to pursue acting, the couple was already living apart. Bergman's career skyrocketed in the 1940s with hits like Casablanca and Gaslight. But everything changed when she met Italian director Roberto Rossellini while filming Stromboli in 1950. They began an affair while Bergman was still married, and soon she became pregnant with Rossellini's child. The scandal was explosive and the public felt betrayed. They had believed Bergman was as virtuous as the characters she played, but now she was labeled immoral. Senator Edwin C. Johnson publicly condemned her, calling her a powerful influence for evil. As a result, boycotts followed, her films were banned, and the press hounded her relentlessly. That's when Bergman fled to Europe, where she and Rossellini welcomed 3 children, including future actress Isabella Rossellini. The scandal ended her marriage to Lindstrom, but also strained her relationship with her daughter Pia, whom she left behind. While her career eventually recovered when she returned to Hollywood in 1956, the affair with Rossellini forever marked Bergman as one of Hollywood's most scandalous figures. Rita Hayworth, Ali Khan, and Orson Welles. Rita Hayworth, known as the Love Goddess, had a love life filled with drama and controversy. In 1943, she shocked everyone by marrying Orson Welles in a simple courthouse ceremony during their lunch break. The Associated Press questioned the sudden marriage, noting that Hayworth had recently been rumored to be engaged to actor Victor Mature. Despite their initial chemistry, the marriage didn't last. By 1946, the couple had separated. Shortly after, Hayworth went on vacation to the French Riviera, where her beauty caught the attention of Prince Ali Khan, who was known to be a playboy and spiritual leader. Ali was determined to meet her, and even convinced gossip columnist Elsa Maxwell to help arrange a party. Hayworth, who planned to leave early, stayed after Maxwell's urging, and was instantly charmed by the prince. The fact that both were still married didn't stop them from starting a relationship, and Hollywood was outraged. And so, Columbia Studios president Harry Cohn sued Hayworth for $1.2 million after she quit acting to spend more time with Ali. The British press attacked her too, with one tabloid calling the couple's actions an insult to decent-minded women. Despite the backlash, they married in France in 1949 and welcomed a daughter, Princess Yasmin, 7 months later. But their love story didn't last. Hayworth grew tired of Ali's infidelities and filed for divorce in 1951, leading to a bitter custody battle that dragged on until Ali's tragic death in 1960. Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy's affairs. Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy were one of Hollywood's most talked-about couples. Their alleged love story seemed straight out of a movie, but according to insiders like Scotty Bowers, it wasn't what it appeared to be. Bowers, who was a Hollywood insider and author, claimed their romance was a carefully constructed lie. Hepburn, a legendary actress, was reportedly a lesbian, while Tracy, known for his rugged charm, was said to be bisexual. Studios paired them together to protect their images and keep the truth hidden. Speaking of which, Hepburn reportedly asked Bowers to find a nice young dark-haired girl for her, a request he claimed to fulfill over 150 times. But in public, Hepburn and Tracy maintained the appearance of a devoted couple. Their friendship was undeniable, but Hepburn herself admitted to her biographer that their relationship was complicated. She stayed by Tracy's side despite his alcoholism and other relationships, explaining, "I loved him, and I wanted to be with him." The studio system during Hollywood's golden age was relentless in covering up anything that didn't fit the idealized image of its stars. Bowers described this era as a time when living authentically was nearly impossible. Hepburn and Tracy's story was more about survival in a time when being different could destroy careers. Their affair remains one of Hollywood's most enduring myths. Liza Minnelli and Peter Allen. Liza Minnelli's marriage to Peter Allen was anything but ordinary. She was Hollywood royalty, and he was a charming Australian singer discovered by her mother, Judy Garland. After losing her mother, Minnelli threw herself into work and seemed to find comfort in Allen. They appeared to be the perfect Hollywood couple, but the reality was far more complicated. Behind closed doors, Allen was hiding a massive secret. He was gay. Minnelli, completely unaware, was left blindsided by the truth. On their wedding night, she walked in on Allen in bed with another man. Years later, she would joke about the moment, saying, "Let me put it this way. I'll never surprise anybody coming home as long as I live. I call first." But that wasn't the end of their troubles. While Minnelli was filming Cabaret, she began an affair with music producer Rex Kramer. Her actions were bold, often flaunting the relationship in front of Allen. Still, her reasons were clear. She was seeking revenge for Allen's betrayals. Allen's behavior, however, took the drama to another level. Not only did he continue cheating, but he also had a secret affair with Minnelli's stepfather, Mark Herron. This shocking revelation left Minnelli humiliated. The marriage, filled with infidelity and secrets, couldn't survive. After a long separation, they divorced in 1974, leaving behind a story that shocked even Hollywood's most scandal-hardened hearts. Charlie Chaplin and Lita Grey. Charlie Chaplin's relationship with Lita Grey was a scandal waiting to happen. Chaplin, already a Hollywood icon, met Lita when she was just a teenager. At only 16 years old, Lita caught the eye of the 35-year-old actor while working on one of his films. Their connection was kept secret, largely because of her age and Chaplin's fear of public backlash. When Lita became pregnant, Chaplin's world turned upside down. At the time, pregnancy out of wedlock was a career-ending scandal, so Chaplin rushed to marry her to save his reputation. Their secret wedding took place in 1924 in Mexico, far from the prying eyes of the Hollywood press. However, their marriage was far from a fairy tale. Chaplin and Lita constantly clashed, and their union quickly fell apart. By 1927, the couple divorced in a highly publicized and messy legal battle. The court proceedings revealed shocking details about their relationship, including Chaplin's controlling behavior and infidelities. The press couldn't get enough, and the story became one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood history. Vivien Leigh, Laurence Olivier, and Jill Esmond. Vivien Leigh and Laurence Olivier's love story began with an undeniable spark. In 1936, Olivier saw Leigh perform in The Mask of Virtue. She was captivating, and he was instantly drawn to her. Leigh, equally smitten, told a friend, "That's the man I'm going to marry." The only problem was that both were already married at the time. Leigh was married to Herbert Lee Holman, a barrister who barely tolerated her acting ambitions. Olivier was married to Jill Esmond, the daughter of famous British actors. Olivier later admitted in his autobiography that he married Esmond because he didn't think he could do any better. In 1937, Olivier was cast in Hamlet, and Leigh began visiting him frequently. They starred together in Fire Over England, and their connection deepened. Olivier described it as love he couldn't resist, saying, "No man could." Despite feeling guilty about cheating on Jill, Olivier knew this was different. It was love, not lust. The pair eventually left their spouses and moved in together before their divorces were finalized in 1940. 6 months later, they married in California. But their happiness didn't last. Leigh's struggles with alcohol, miscarriages, and a long affair with actor Peter Finch put a strain on their marriage, and by 1960, they divorced. Though their relationship ended, Olivier remained tender toward Leigh, writing her after the divorce, "You did nobly and bravely and beautifully. I am very sorry it must have been much hell for you." Ava Gardner and Frank Sinatra. Ava Gardner and Frank Sinatra's love story was as fiery as it was scandalous. By the time they met, Sinatra was a fading star and still married to Nancy Barbato, the mother of his 3 children. But none of that stopped him. He was mesmerized by Ava's beauty, and the two began a passionate affair. While Sinatra's obsession with Ava was undeniable, it came with a dark side. His jealousy often got the best of him. While Ava was in Spain filming for MGM, Sinatra visited her and demanded to know if she'd been with anyone else. When she admitted to a one-night stand with a bullfighter, he exploded with anger. Despite the tension, their passion kept them together. When Sinatra told Barbato he was in love with Ava, she locked him out of their home. It wasn't long before Sinatra's Catholic guilt delayed the divorce, but eventually he left his family to be with Ava. 10 days after the divorce was finalized, the two married, sparking a media frenzy. Ava was painted as a femme fatale who had lured Sinatra away from his wife and children, and their union was far from peaceful. The tabloids loved their drama, and Sinatra's declining career only added to the chaos. Despite their love, their relationship was filled with arguments, jealousy, and public scrutiny, making it one of Hollywood's most infamous scandals. Debbie Reynolds, Eddie Fisher, and Elizabeth Taylor. Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor were once Hollywood's golden friends. They met as teenagers and remained close through the years, sharing laughter, success, and stardom. That is, until a scandal tore them apart. Reynolds married singer Eddie Fisher in 1955, and the couple had 2 children, including Star Wars icon Carrie Fisher. Meanwhile, Taylor married producer Mike Todd in 1957. The two couples were often seen together enjoying their friendship, but tragedy struck in 1958 when Todd died in a plane crash. Fisher, trying to comfort the grieving Taylor, found himself falling for her. What started as support soon became an affair that shook Hollywood. Taylor later admitted her feelings for Fisher were tied to her grief, saying, "The only thing we had in common was Mike. I never loved Eddie." Despite this, Fisher left Reynolds, and the nation turned against Taylor, calling her a homewrecker. The public labeled Reynolds as the victim, the devoted wife and mother left for Hollywood's bad girl. Fisher and Taylor married just hours after his divorce was finalized, but their relationship was rocky from the start. By 1964, Taylor had moved on to another scandalous affair with Richard Burton. Her marriage to Fisher ended as abruptly as it began, and years later Reynolds and Taylor crossed paths on a cruise and exchanged notes, rekindling their friendship. Did you know that by 2001 they even worked together on a project written by Reynolds' daughter, Carrie? But their once perfect bond would always be remembered for the betrayal that divided them. Lauren Bacall, Humphrey Bogart, and Mayo Method. Humphrey Bogart and Mayo Method's marriage was fiery from the start. Dubbed the Battling Bogarts by the press, their relationship was marked by heated arguments, fueled by alcohol and mutual frustrations. Both were known to be violent, with Bogart calling Method sluggy because of her temper. Things reached a dangerous point during a USO tour in 1944 when the pair drunkenly fired guns at each other. Amid the chaos of his marriage, Bogart met Lauren Bacall on the set of To Have and Have Not. She was just 19 while he was 44. Despite their age difference, their chemistry was undeniable. Bogart made the first move one night, stopping by her trailer to kiss her and ask for her number. Bacall later admitted, "He was the man who meant everything in the world to me." Though Bogart was drawn to Bacall, he didn't leave Method right away. He often returned to his wife, trying to salvage their marriage. At one point, Method even caught him calling Bacall and lashed out in a jealous rage. Eventually, Bogart could no longer deny his feelings. After a particularly bad holiday with Method, he left for good. On May 10, 1945, Bogart divorced Method, and just 11 days later, he married Bacall. Their love story became legendary, but Method never recovered, passing away in 1951 after years of struggle. Cary Grant and Randolph Scott. Cary Grant and Randolph Scott were two of Hollywood's most admired leading men. Both were charming, handsome, and successful. But their close friendship became the subject of endless speculation, with rumors suggesting that their bond was more than platonic. The two actors met in the 1930s and quickly became inseparable. They even shared a house in Malibu, which they playfully called Bachelor Hall. Photographs of Grant and Scott from this time only added fuel to the gossip. In these pictures, they appeared relaxed and happy, often lounging together by the pool or playfully joking around. To the press, their relationship seemed unusually intimate for two men. Studio executives, however, were not amused. Hollywood's golden age demanded its stars maintain squeaky clean heterosexual images. Any rumors of a same-sex relationship could ruin a career, and so both Grant and Scott publicly dated women, with Grant eventually marrying several times, but the whispers never stopped. Despite the rumors, neither actor confirmed or denied the nature of their relationship. Grant once joked about the speculation, saying, "I don't think I'll get married again. I think I'll just find a woman I don't like and give her a house." Whether they were just close friends or something more, their bond remains one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries, one that challenged the era's rigid expectations of masculinity and relationships. Audrey Hepburn and William Holden. Audrey Hepburn and William Holden's romance began on the set of Sabrina in 1954. Holden had admired Audrey even before meeting her, and once they started working together, his schoolboy crush turned into something much deeper. Their on-screen chemistry mirrored their off-screen passion, and soon they were entangled in a secret affair. But their love was doomed from the start. Holden wasn't the perfect match Audrey might have dreamed of. He was married, battled a drinking problem, and carried emotional baggage that weighed heavily on their relationship. Despite these issues, Holden fell hard. He even proposed, hoping to make Audrey his wife. However, Audrey had her own dreams. She desperately wanted to start a family, but Holden had undergone a vasectomy. The realization that they couldn't have children together shattered any chance of a future. Heartbroken, Audrey turned him down. Holden later admitted, "I really was in love with Audrey, but she wouldn't marry me." A decade later, in 1964, they reunited for Paris When It Sizzles. But by then, Audrey was married, and Holden's feelings hadn't faded. His attempts to rekindle their romance only led to embarrassment. One drunken night, he tried to climb to Audrey's dressing room window but fell before reaching her. It was the ultimate humiliation, sealing the end of their complicated and scandalous affair. Gary Cooper and Lupe Velez. Gary Cooper and Lupe Velez's relationship was as fiery as it was scandalous. They met on the set of The Wolf Song in 1929 and quickly fell into a passionate, tumultuous affair. Velez, known for her fierce temper, often let her emotions take over. During one fight, she chased Cooper with a knife and cut him so badly he needed stitches. The tabloids couldn't get enough of their explosive arguments, but Cooper wasn't exactly innocent. While Velez burned with passion for him, he was busy entertaining affairs with other women, including stars like Marlene Dietrich and Carole Lombard. Still, Velez held her own, and their chaotic love story continued for 3 intense years. Things took a dangerous turn when they finally broke up. As Cooper was boarding a train in Los Angeles, Velez reportedly showed up yelling, "Gary, you son of a bee!" and fired a gun at him. The bullet missed and Cooper ducked into the train car. Despite everything, Cooper later admitted he was drawn to Velez, saying, "She flashed, stormed, and sparked." Adding to the drama, rumors swirled about Cooper's close relationship with actor Anderson Lawler. Velez claimed she could smell Lawler's cologne on Cooper and even hinted at a love triangle. This wild romance is another one of Hollywood's most talked-about scandals. Lana Turner and Johnny Stompanato. Lana Turner was one of Hollywood's brightest stars. But did you know that she found herself in a dark and scandalous relationship with Johnny Stompanato, a mobster with connections to the infamous Mickey Cohen? Their affair was filled with drama, passion, and violence, making it a favorite for tabloid headlines. Stompanato was known for his temper and jealousy. He often tried to control Turner, creating a toxic and dangerous relationship. Their fights were legendary, and Turner's friends and family worried about her safety. Despite the chaos, Turner struggled to leave him, likely drawn to the intensity of their connection. The scandal reached its peak in 1958 when Stompanato showed up at Turner's Beverly Hills home during a heated argument. Turner's 14-year-old daughter, Cheryl Crane, overheard the fight and feared for her mother's life. In a desperate act, Cheryl grabbed a kitchen knife and stabbed Stompanato. He died almost instantly. The case shocked Hollywood. Cheryl claimed self-defense, and during the trial, Turner gave an emotional testimony recounting the abuse she endured. The court ruled the stabbing justified, but the incident left a permanent stain on Turner's reputation. Bette Davis and William Wyler. Bette Davis had many men in her life, but she always called William Wyler the one that got away. Their affair began while working together on The Letter, 1940, and The Little Foxes, 1941, two of Davis's most celebrated films. Davis later confessed, "Willie was the love of my life, no question. He was everything I ever dreamed of in a man, so love and passion soon followed." Wyler, however, saw things differently. He described Davis as very passionate and emotional, with more energy than anyone I'd ever known. Too much for me. Their accounts of what went wrong don't quite match. Davis claimed she wanted to marry Wyler, while he insisted she had told him she didn't. Regardless, their romance was short-lived but unforgettable for Davis. Years later, Davis visited Wyler on the set of his epic Ben-Hur, 1959. She described their reunion as heartbreaking. According to her, Wyler greeted her politely, as if their affair had never happened. For Davis, this moment solidified the fact that while she loved him deeply, the feeling wasn't mutual. Their secret affair, never public during its time, remains one of the most intriguing chapters of Davis's personal life. Marlon Brando and Rita Moreno. When Marlon Brando met Rita Moreno in 1954, sparks flew instantly. Moreno herself described their connection as electric, saying just meeting him sent her into a full-body blush, but their relationship was anything but smooth. Brando, known for his charm and unfaithfulness, constantly cheated on Moreno during their 8 years together, breaking her heart over and over. Despite the pain he caused, Moreno couldn't stay away. She loved him deeply, even as he married other women during their on-again, off-again romance. Moreno wanted commitment, but Brando refused to make her his wife. The breaking point came when Moreno discovered lingerie that wasn't hers. Hurt and furious, she decided to get revenge. That's when Elvis Presley entered. Moreno accepted his advances, knowing it would drive Brando mad. It worked. When Brando found out, he exploded with jealousy, even throwing furniture in a fit of rage. Yet, despite her brief satisfaction, Moreno admitted Elvis couldn't compare to Brando. Their toxicity peaked when Moreno became pregnant. Brando forced her to have an abortion, but the procedure went horribly wrong, leaving Moreno traumatized. His cold reaction, focusing on the money he spent instead of her suffering, pushed her to the edge. In despair, Moreno attempted to take her life. Though she survived, it was clear their relationship had to end. Errol Flynn and Beverly Adland. Errol Flynn's relationship with Beverly Adland became one of Hollywood's most scandalous stories, even if the full truth wasn't widely known at the time. By the 1950s, Flynn's once glittering career was overshadowed by his reputation for womanizing, drinking, and previous legal troubles involving underage girls. His romance with Beverly Adland only cemented his notoriety. Flynn met Adland when she was just 15, though he claimed he didn't learn her age until after their relationship began. Their first meeting was orchestrated under the guise of an audition, but it was more about Flynn's personal interest than her acting abilities. Despite the obvious red flags, Beverly's mother, Florence, encouraged the relationship, even accompanying them on dates to deflect suspicion from the press. Flynn used his charm and promises of making Beverly a star to win over Florence, who saw the relationship as an opportunity for her daughter's career. Flynn gave Beverly the nickname Woodsy, and even announced plans to marry her at her 17th birthday party. However, his declining health caught up with him. In 1959, while leasing his yacht in Canada, Flynn died in Beverly's arms after a night of storytelling. After Flynn's death, Beverly's life spiraled. She was placed in a juvenile home, and her mother was jailed for contributing to her delinquency. Florence later wrote a book about the affair, The Big Love, against Beverly's wishes, adding to the sensationalism of their controversial romance. What do you think about these scandalous affairs that shaped the drama of Golden Age Hollywood? Were they shocking, romantic, or just plain outrageous? Make sure to subscribe to the channel and let us know.